Tonight is Sunday night and we just got some takeout Mexican food. Yummy, yummy. Some burritos, rice beans. I got some guacamole and salsa and chips. So that's what we're having this Sunday night. Tonight is Monday night and we are having some shrimp and baked potato and some steamed vegetables. The shrimp I cook in some apple cider vinegar, and then I just throw some of the Old Bay seasoning in there, bring it up to a bubble, and then just throw the defrosted shrimp inside that and cook them until they're done. And then the baked potato, we just baked off in the oven, covered it with some olive oil and kosher salt. Really yummy. Looking forward to tonight's dinner. So Tuesday night, I was making up a Crockpot balsamic chicken recipe. I already prepped the chicken there, and I am slicing up some onion. The recipe does not say to add any onion or any cherry tomatoes. I have cherry tomatoes there in the bag, but I do so because I think it tastes really good. You could also use red onion here. This is just half of a white onion. So I'm just sprinkling that into the bottom of the crock pot. And then we'll add some frozen, these are frozen cherry tomatoes. Obviously you could use fresh cherry tomatoes. These are just from my summer garden, so I'll just throw those in there. And then I just top them with the chicken thighs. These are boneless, skinless chicken thighs, by the way. Trimmed of some of their fat. I gotta wash my salmonella off my hands real quick. Sorry, I'm in my pajamas still. It was early when I put all this together. And then I just have all my spices here. So we're gonna do a teaspoon of just some garlic powder. This has a lot of spices in that dish. And then we do a teaspoon of the basil leaves. And then I like the iodized salt for this. I think that maybe my frozen cherry tomatoes kind of diluted a little bit, so I think the iodized is a little bit stronger. And the recipe calls for a half teaspoon, but I remembered here that I usually like to do a teaspoon, and then I spilled all the salt all over my counter. So I just added a little bit more salt to the crock pot. So I did a teaspoon there instead of the half teaspoon. And then just some plain old ground black pepper. Do a half teaspoon of that. And then the recipe calls for minced onion, dried minced onion, but I just use onion powder and I do 2 teaspoons of that. And it's been really good. It's not too oniony or anything. It tastes great. And as if the garlic powder wasn't enough, we gotta add some chopped minced garlic. So I'm just using pre-minced garlic in a jar in water. So I think it calls for 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, but I always feel like the garlic in the jar tastes a little bit, like more diluted in flavor. So I always add a little bit extra when I'm not using fresh garlic. And then I gotta get my measuring cup. Well, there I am, everybody, in case you're curious. I do a half cup of the balsamic vinegar. I really like just the plain Great Value brand. That one tastes pretty good. So I just use that. And we'll dump that in. And then you just add maybe like a tablespoon, just a little drizzle of olive oil in as well. And then I do just kind of stir it around a little bit, not too much. About halfway through the cooking process, I do flip the chicken over a little bit just to distribute things around a little bit more. It's a little hard to mix things around when there's onion and tomatoes in there. So I do that later on in the day, but obviously you don't have to if you're letting this go. So then you put it on low for about 6 or 8 hours. That's just what it looks like. And then I'll show you an after. And that's what it looks like all cooked down. There's some little caramelized bits. This is really good. The juice is great, and I love it with the tomatoes. Tonight is Tuesday night, and we are having the Crockpot balsamic chicken. I showed you pretty much how I assembled and threw everything into the Crockpot. And this is just what it looks like after it's cooked. I do flip it over one time during the cooking process. It gets a little bit caramelized. It's really good. The original recipe doesn't call for adding tomatoes or onion, but I just add that. It does taste really good when you do add that. But this is what we're having for dinner this Tuesday night with a side of Brussels sprouts. All right, so this is Wednesday night, and this is the beef tamale pie that I made in the oven. You make up some cornbread and then pour some enchilada sauce over that once it's cooked up, and then make a beef mixture. I added the green peppers in just to add a little something extra, and then just made a little side salad type thing. Figure we'll just mix it all together, kind of like a bowl. So this is what we're having for dinner Wednesday night. Tonight is Thursday night. We're just having a really simple dinner. Some frozen spinach and cheese ravioli from Aldi with some Aldi sauce on top and some fresh steamed asparagus on the side. Haven't had these ravioli in a while, so hopefully they're good. And this is what we're having for dinner this Thursday night. Tonight is Friday night, and we are having some Crockpot pork chops. They have brown sugar and garlic on it. I followed kind of a recipe online. I divided it in half because we only did a couple pork chops instead of the full 6. So I did that. I don't know how they taste, so we'll find out how they are. And then a sweet potato that we just microwave, and then steamed green beans. So super simple, healthy dinner. So that is what is for dinner this Friday night. Tonight is Saturday night, and we are just having a real quick meal. I always have salmon cakes in the freezer, so I just pulled some out. And we made those, and then some steamed vegetables, and a baked potato. I've just been really craving baked potatoes lately, so I made a couple of the russet organic potatoes in the oven today. So this is what's for dinner this Saturday night.